has always been a funny thing. For most of us, it feels simple. The coins in our pocket, the balance on the bank app, the paycheck that lands once a month. But peel back the layers, and you find something far more complicated. Promises, politics, and power plays stitched together in ways most people don't even notice. Now Europe is about to shape that whole system again with the digital euro. The idea sounds straightforward. Take the euro, which you already know, and make a digital version backed by the European Central Bank, ECB. It's supposed to work like cash, but on your phone. Tap, transfer, lend a friend a tenner, all without MasterCard, Visa, or your commercial bank taking a cut. Neat, right? But here's the catch. Money is never just money. It's always a battlefield. And right now, Brussels is sharpening its knives. This September, after years of debate, EU finance ministers finally managed to scribble down a roadmap for the digital euro. It's taken 6 years of hand-wringing, consultations, and what-ifs, but ministers are now patting themselves on the back. They've agreed they should at least get a say on when and how this digital currency gets rolled out, and importantly, how much of it any one person is allowed to hold. Why? Because nobody wants a bank run. Imagine if people suddenly decided to dump their savings accounts and just stash everything in a shiny ECB-backed wallet. The banks would be toast overnight. So the plan is to set limits, how many digital euros you can have at once. Enough to make it useful, but not enough to kill the banks. Sounds like a compromise. But like every compromise in Brussels, it's messy, vague, and already full of lobbyists whispering in the right ears. At first glance, you might wonder why there's so much noise about what's essentially a digital wallet. After all, aren't we already digital? Your bank app is just numbers on a screen. Apple Pay, Revolut, PayPal, we've been zapping money around for years. The difference here is control. When you use your bank card, you're relying on a commercial bank, on Visa or MasterCard, on payment rails that are privately owned. The ECB hates that. Christine Lagarde and her team see it as Europe being held hostage by American giants. Every time a European buys something online and the payment clears through California servers, it's a little reminder of who's really in charge. So the ECB wants to build a European payment system, one that doesn't bow to Washington or Silicon Valley. Lagarde even spelled it out. The digital euro is as much a political statement as it is a payment tool. It's about sovereignty, about showing the world that Europe can still build its own infrastructure instead of renting someone else's. Now, add another twist. Across the Atlantic, Trump's back in the White House, and he's pushing stablecoins hard. He signed the Genius Act to turbocharge crypto tied to the US dollar, making them more legit than ever. Stablecoins aren't wild roller coasters like Bitcoin. They're pegged to a currency, usually the dollar. That makes them both safe and dangerous. Safe because their value holds, dangerous because they could start replacing traditional money in cross-border deals. To the ECB, this is a nightmare. Imagine a world where every time a Spanish company buys from a German one, they settle the bill in dollar-backed stablecoins instead of euros. Suddenly, the euro becomes second fiddle in its own backyard. And Europe, which already frets about its lack of strategic autonomy in energy, defense, and tech, can't stomach losing money itself. So the digital euro isn't just about modernizing payments. It's about making sure the euro still matters in a world where digital dollars are creeping in through the back door. Of course, not everyone's thrilled. Banks see this project as a loaded gun pointed at their business model. Right now, when you deposit money, the bank lends most of it out. Mortgages, business loans, you name it. The whole system relies on you not showing up tomorrow, demanding every last cent. But with the digital euro, your money sits directly with the ECB, safe and untouchable. Great for you, horrible for banks. That's why bankers are lobbying like crazy. They argue this whole thing is a solution, looking for a problem. They warn it'll cost a fortune, slow down innovation, and spook depositors. Some even whisper it's a Trojan horse for governments to snoop on people's payments. And let's be honest, they're not entirely wrong to worry. Here's where the street-level concerns kick in. Cash is private. You hand me a note, it's done. No record, no data trail, no one watching. But digital euros? By definition, they leave a footprint. Even if the ECB swears on a stack of treaties that it won't spy on us, people don't trust central banks to resist the temptation forever. In Germany and the Netherlands, governments are already pushing for the highest safeguards against surveillance. Meanwhile, Belgium says it won't support the plan at all unless the digital euro can work offline, meaning you could swap it like cash, even without an internet connection. That tells you everything. Even in Brussels, they know money is more than numbers. It's freedom, it's privacy, it's the ability to live without someone peeking over your shoulder. And if the digital euro feels like Big Brother's wallet, people will reject it, plain and simple. If you ask Brussels, the digital euro is for everyone. A modern, universal payment method that strengthens the union and makes life easier. But if you squint, you see another story. It's mostly about governments and central bankers keeping their grip on money in a world that's slipping away from them. For citizens, the benefits are, well, let's say unclear. Sure, it might be cheaper to pay across borders. Maybe transactions will be faster. But will it really change your daily life in a meaningful way? Or will it just be another app on your phone, while banks, politicians, and the ECB fight over the plumbing behind it? This debate isn't just about Europe. All around the world, central banks are grappling with the same question. China already launched its digital yuan. The US is debating whether a digital dollar would strengthen or shatter its banking system. Even smaller countries are experimenting with central bank digital currencies, trying to figure out whether they're the future or just a costly distraction. The digital euro fits into that bigger global puzzle. It's part defensive move, part innovation gamble, part sovereignty play. It's Europe saying, we refuse to be left behind. But here's the kicker. Money isn't just about efficiency. It's about trust. And trust takes decades to build and seconds to lose. If the digital euro becomes a symbol of surveillance, or if it sparks a banking crisis, people won't care how geopolitically smart it looked on paper. They'll just want their old notes back. The roadmap ministers agreed on is just the beginning. Legislation is still crawling through Brussels, and the ECB hopes to get it wrapped by next June. If all goes well, it'll still take another 3 years before you can buy your morning coffee with digital euros. Realistically, we're talking 2028. By then, who knows what the financial landscape will look like? Maybe stablecoins will dominate. Maybe crypto will have imploded again. Maybe cash will have staged a comeback. One thing's certain, the fight over money's future won't end here. The digital euro is a mirror reflecting Europe's deepest insecurities. Its reliance on American payment rails, its anxiety about tech giants muscling into finance, its fear of falling behind in the race for digital sovereignty. But it also shines a light on something bigger, the uneasy relationship between people and money in the digital age. Because at the end of the day, money is trust. And no matter how slick the app, how grand the speeches, or how urgent the geopolitics, if ordinary people don't trust the digital euro, it won't fly. Brussels can legislate, banks can lobby, Trump can push stable coins, but trust belongs to the public. Always has, always will. So Europe is taking a gamble. Maybe not Vegas blackjack like FedEx's Fred Smith once pulled off, but a gamble nonetheless. And just like any gamble, the outcome isn't guaranteed.